All our guests are in and waving, so we can probably start na with our interview with them. Okay. So to introduce our guest, bigay na natin kay Mami Joanne ang ating
okay. So,
introduction.
Ang ating first guest po ay from SDO Palawan Province. Isa sa pinakamagandang lugar sa Pilipinas. At gusto ko talaga sa Palawan. Okay. Siya po ay ang ESDS ng SDO Palawan in the person of Dr. Felix Pomaran. Hello, sir. Good evening po. Say hi po.
Good evening. Good
evening po. Good evening. Next.
Okay, our next guest po naman, eto, isa pa ding gwapo. Nax. Kumpare, no? Ay, siya naman po yung SDO Chief ng SGOD Chief ng SDO Antipolo. Siyempre, si pare, Dr. Jonathan Domingo. Hello po. Good evening.
Hello, Mare, pare. Good evening po.
Okay. Next.
Okay, syempre, ang ating third guest naman ay from Iligan City Division. So, Region 10, siya po ang pinakamalayo galing ng Mindanao. Siya po si Dr. Riza Nicor, Principal of Doña Juana Actulio Memorial Central School. Hello po, ma'am. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. Maayong gabi.
And syempre, yung ating next guest naman, medyo malapit sa atin, from SDO Binyan City. So siya po si Miss Leslie Balena Miss Leslie Balena Dinosta, Principal po ng Nereo R. Joaquin National High School. Good evening po, ma'am.
Hello po, good evening.
Okay, and last but not the least, from SDO Rizal. Yan. Siya naman po ay isang school head from Hapay na Manga Elementary School, Mr. Nico Aquino. Hello po.
Hello po. Good evening po, Ma'am Joanne and Sir Lito.
Good evening po.
Okay. Isa munang quick ambush interview para sa lahat. Okay. Kung sino pong gusto maunang sumagot, ha? Ano po yung pwede niyo i-share na isang bagay na hindi namin alam o hindi alam ng marami sa inyo? Isang bagay po na meron kayo na hindi namin alam. Sige nga.
Ako parang walang may tatago. Alam ni paring Lito eh.
Wala ba?
Ako po tatlo na ang aking anak.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir Nico.
Ako siguro ma'am, hindi pa rin kasi alam ng marami na pregnant yung wife ko ngayon for our second baby.
Oh. Hindi po. What about Ma'am Riza? Wala ko dyan si Ma'am. Ma'am, nakamute ka.
Yan. Okay na po.
Hello po. Ako yung kikay ng Iligan City Division.
Okay, si Ma'am Leslie, ma'am.
Hindi ko po sure kung anong i-share ko na hindi pa alam. Pero ayun po, yan po sa likod yung aming asawa. Newlywed lang po ako. Ayun po po.
Okay.
Hindi po.
Siguro mag-start na tayo ng mga sharing natin. So basically, this episode is Usapang Learning Continuity Plan and what we expect from our guests to share their learning continuity plan. So yung naging highlight ng simulation nila, if hindi pa naka-simulate, probably ano yung mga milestones doon sa mga learning continuity plans nila. And of course, ano yung mga gaps at ano yung mga kailangan pa natin i-improve in the implementation come August 24. So alam natin maraming paghahanda. We also welcome not only the parents but also our educators, our school heads, at baka may mga supervisors pa nanonood, na baka may mapulot sila na something unique, pero applicable naman sa context ng kanilang learning community. So sisimulan na natin siguro sa pinaka-excited mag-share muna sa school level. Ma'am Riza Nicor.
Mayong gabi once again to Sir Lito and wife Mami Juan. I am from Iligan City Division. I've been a school head for almost 6 years now. And in terms of our new normal educational system here in our division, I could say that we are prepared for our August 24, 2020 opening. Not only in the hinterlands, but also here in the heart of our city. We have 44 barangays, even we have localized ECQ here because of the COVID-19 attack. We are still ongoing on the process of preparing all our modules for ahead of time for the right opening of our education. And by the way, my school is across the Iligan City City Hospital. And that is why we have health protocols here to protect not only our learners, but also our teachers and staff and stakeholders, the community of Iligan City. In terms of modalities in our school, even this is a central school, ma'am and sir, we are still 90% or almost 80% of our learners, our parents choose the modular learning delivery modality. But then we also have the online learning and of course the radio-based instruction. What is difference here? If we talk about the modular, we choose what we call this one, the distance learning. We can have the online, and the offline learning. Those who are catering for the online, they will be given also the modules for them to answer. And for 2 months, we cater 2 subjects. Example, in the morning, we have English and Filipino. And by example, we have grade 6. We have 8 sections. So 4 of that sections will cater the subjects English and Filipino for September and October. The other 4 subjects, 4 sections, for 5 to 7, they will be having the math and the ESP, so that we could rotate the modules, the self-learning modules that we have printed. Because if we try to have the 1:1 ratio for the modules, we will be having the lack of funds for the printing of the modules. And then what is difference also, what is new and exciting in our retrieval and the distribution is we tap our stakeholders, the Purok residents. So we provided them boxes for distribution and the retrieval of our self-learning modules from the parents. Example, if we have 20 learners from that Purok, they will be the distribution will be at the Purok President's house and also the retrieval. No need for them to come to school. Even to lessen the transportation, of course, expenses, as well as the pandemic also, no, the COVID-19 to be protected from the COVID-19. So what we cater in school will be for those learners who are new in this community and even those who transfer from private schools to our school. So we tap the Purok residents because they knew the community, the Purok learners, the parents, the residents of that certain Purok. Also, we have the home learning space. we provided a prototype. This is what it is new in our division because we have contest. We have the contest in home learning space prototype, and it is a for viewing of our parents so that they could also prepare a home learning space at home for their learners, as well as we also have the simulation, the dry run for the different modalities in all of our schools. Not only a representative, but all schools in Iligan City Division, spearheaded by our Superintendent, Dr. Roy Angelo Igaso, and our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Lago. They have spearheaded the simulations, the dry run for the different modalities. This is also a privilege for us as school heads so that we could also collaborate with our parents during meetings. We have series of meetings, but then still we continue to protect our learners' safety and well-being. So still we have the standard of distance, social distancing, and then the health essentials also. We tap also our stakeholders. That is why I am wearing the Brigada Escuela 2020 t-shirt to communicate to our stakeholders to help our school be prepared in the new normal school system comes August 24, 2020. I hope we will be excited in the delivery of our teaching and learning, and the parents also as our partners. We will not be shocked of what will happen because series of orientation, series of meetings, as well as a series of innovative ideas using the technology, series of virtual meetings, as well as calling our parents, chatting our parents. We have done that one, and with the technical support of our leaders from the division office, not only from the division, but as well as from the regional office. I hope we will learn a lot, and with our simulation videos that I have provided, actually, I have given Sarlito 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos for you to watch and witness how we conducted, how we prepare our learning continuity plan for school year 2020-2021 na ready na. Sulong edukalidad. Kasi po, dito sa Iligan, laging number 1. Basta Iligan, number 1. Basta Iligan, walang iwanan. Yan po ang aming mantra. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Riza. Mukhang handang-handa na sila, no? Kasi based doon sa video na sinend nila sa atin and supposedly napanood natin kanina, but we will be showing after this live stream na meron na silang online simulation, meron na silang modular simulation, meron na din silang home space, no, doon sa kanilang pinakita kanina.
And radio-based po, yung radio-based.
Radio-based, meron na din sila, talagang kompleto. Mamaya i-share natin yung videos para makita ng viewers natin yung talagang actual na implementation ng mga modalities na ito. Talagang handang-handa ang Iligan, number 1. Meron daw kung merong konting si Ma'am Joanne sa inyo, Ma'am.
Hi, Ma'am Riza again.
Yes po.
Nabanggit niyo po kanina na yung modules natin magro-rotate sa mga bata. Tama po?
Opo.
Okay, so mag-share po sila, mag-exchange para ma-save po natin yung cost of printing. Okay, ang concern ko po, ma'am, paano po yung, syempre, di ba magta-transmit from one person to another, paano yung health and safety protocol pagdating sa modules?
Po?
I mean, halimbawa, ako yung gumamit ng module, so kailangan nang i-transfer doon sa next na gagamit. How do we make sure How do we make sure po na virus-free ang module? Yun po.
Ma'am Joanne, ito po ang, mayroon po kaming series of orientation. We have simulated on how to conduct the safety protocols on disinfecting. So with that, we have prepared envelopes, we have prepared the modules at hand. And then during the distribution, again, we remind the parents that we should keep our home learning space free from dirt, free from viruses, bacteria. So meron po tayong orientation and palagi po namin nire-remind ang aming mga parents that we should disinfect at all times. And another one, we also provided them the health kit. Nagbibigay po kami kasi not to brag, marami po mga stakeholders namin dito na nagsusupport sa amin in terms of providing the alcohol, as well as the Clorox at home, as well as yung mga safeguard, even toothbrushing kit. Nagpro-provide po kami niyan kasi sa Division of Iligan City, lagi po kaming mayroong mga korida, mga orientation, series of meetings with the barangay, we tap the barangay, and of course, our Lone District, our congressman and our city mayors. So marami po kaming mga guidelines na provide sa aming parents. So I think po, kasi po, if we will not reuse the module, if we will give it 1:1, wala na pong kasi po masyadong ang amount na needed, for example po, 2,500 po ang learners ko, if you will give them 1:1 for the whole school year, hindi po makakayanan ng aming MOE yan. So we tap the stakeholders, but then we have to sort out, and this is, we had this one with our superintendent, with the bright ideas of our superintendent on how we will manage the distribution and maximize our financial resources, and also to tap our stakeholders, and how the teachers and the school heads make sure that it is safe, secured, and we will give the best for our learners here in Iligan City Division. Yun po. We can assure that there is Iligan City is COVID-free in terms of our learning style or learning delivery of our modules.
Okay,
So,
thank you,
po.
ma'am. I think napakagandang nun kasi syempre, yun ang main concern natin, di ba? Aside from health, so natututo ang mga bata, tapos natutrim down pa natin yung resources. I mean, maximize natin na hindi siya single use lamang. So marami ang pwedeng makinabang. At the same time, na-assure natin yung safety ng bawat.
Yes po.
Thank you, Ma'am Reza.
So
You're
far,
welcome
sa
po.
takeaway ko naman po dyan sa Iligan, Mindanao yan, no? Sa mga kasama nating nanonood from Mindanao po ito. Nagkaroon na sila ng strategy on how to make use ng module. Meron nga silang rotational na strategy. And then what comes with the module ay yung kanilang hygiene kit. Napakagandang strategy din to ensure na safe yung mga module pag pinatransmit na siya from one learner to another. So I think that is a very good strategy. Mamaya po, babalikan natin si Ma'am Liza for some questions from our viewers at saka yung interaction na natin, ilang ba tayo? Ito. Mamaya po, no? So, pupunta muna tayo to give the highlights naman ng LCT nila at ng experience nila sa simulation. Sino yung susunod naman sa salita?
Ang susunod natin ay si Ma'am Leslie. Si Ma'am Leslie ay from...
Binyan.
Okay.
Hello po.
Sige po. Ano po yung mga naging experience natin na worth sharing? Baka may matutunan yung mga parents at mga principals and teachers po sa mga experience na ito. Represent daw Binyan, SDO Binyan. Ang daming nag-cheer.
Mga friends, mga supporters. Ayan.
Yeah. So, yun yung isa.
Sir, uy. Ayan po, so Nag-start lang kami, syempre yung COVID-19, madami talaga siyang naapektuhan, no? So, we started with tweaking some of our activities para ma-address yung current needs. Halimbawa, yung sa Brigada Eskwela, ang mga nire-request na namin or sinusolicit from stakeholders ay yung mga hygiene kits, learning kits para sa mga bata. Then, ganun din sa Oplan Balik Eskwela and enrollment. So, yung mga remote enrollments na. Then, sa data gathering, doon yung pinaka-challenging kasi kailangang isa-isahin yung mga bata. Bukod sa mahirap kasi unang umpisa, kaunti talaga yung nag-e-enroll. Para nung start ng June hanggang mga last week ng June, wala pa kaming 50% nung past year na population namin. So, naintindihan namin yung apprehensions ng mga magulang kung bakit hindi sila nag-enroll. Then, sobrang kaunti nung enrollees kahit na nakailang advocacy na pakipag-coordinate sa barangay, contact din sa kanila, pagte-text ng mga parents, pag-chat sa kanila regarding sa enrollment. Then, doon, yung sa mga sinagot nila doon sa LESF, inisa-isa yon para makraft yung LCP at mapili kung ano ba yung preferred learning modality, no? And doon sa school namin, lumabas ang dalawang emerging modalities, online distance learning and modular distance learning. Pero kaunti pa rin yung online distance learning namin, nasa 10% lang, 100% nung 1,057 na population namin yung capable for online distance learning. The rest ay modular distance learning lang. So, upon knowing that, nagkaroon kami ng capacity building ng mga teachers para dun sa delivery ng dalawang modality. And then, kasama din doon yung capacity building ng sa parents. So, constant communication with parents. Meron kaming school learning action cell. Kasama namin yung mga parents, yung ensuring mental health for new normal education, where nag-invite kami ng registered psychologist para ma-orient din yung mga magulang doon sa magiging role nila since home-based instruction na yung mangyayari ngayon. And then yung ito na yung nakaraan, July 27 to 30, nag-conduct kami ng simulation namin. So, yung sa module, ganun din, kagaya din ng mga sharing ni Ma'am, no? So, individual module, yung ibinigay. Pero dito sa Binyan, we're very fortunate na yung printing ng module ay sasagutin ng local government. Kaya 1:1. Kahit yung mga naka-online distance learning, meron silang module na matatanggap. So, yun. Nung nakapag-simulate na kami, napanood nila yung video at na-upload na namin dun sa DepEd page namin. Doon nag-start din na tumaas yung enrollment namin kasi nakita nila na possible yung education kahit sa new norm. So currently, nasa adjustment na kami nung LCP based doon sa mga experiences namin doon sa simulation na naganap.
Okay, ma'am. Kamusta yung feedback po ng parents after nung simulation or while simulation is still ongoing?
Yung mga parents, yun pala yung nakalimutan kong banggitin. Yung sa distribution ng module namin, ang ginawa namin, napakalaki ng role ng parents kasi hindi namin ni-require na lahat ng mga magulang pupunta para kunin yung module. Ang ginawa namin is we tap parent leaders, tapos sila yung para dun sa mga magkakapitbahay, magkakamag-anak. So yung students, naka-group sila. Yung sectioning nila is group per area para mabilis i-monitor kung saan yung pagpunta ng pagkuha, pag-distribute sa pag-retrieve ng mga modules. So far, okay naman yung ng mga parents kasi lahat ng communication para sa mga magulang is open, ng mga teachers, hindi nga lang 8 to 5 yung availability nila para sa pagsagot sa mga queries. Pero open siya. Tapos gumawa kami ng parang parents guide, parang yung frequently asked questions dun sa mga module para kung parang manual siya, paano ba gagamitin, yung yung mga common na tanong na sa tingin namin ma-encounter ng mga magulang upon sa pagtingin ng module. Yun po yung
Okay. So malaking bagay man talaga yung yung parent support kasi syempre unang-una sila yung nakatutok talaga sa bata sa bahay. And then pangalawa, sila yung pwedeng makapagbigay ng feedback sa mga teachers kung ano ba yung mga needs pa ng mga bata sa bahay din.
Yes po. Sobrang laki. Saka maganda din na nakikita ng mga yung presence talaga ng GPTA, very visible sila kasi nakikita ng mga parents na pag may mga programs kami, ang nag-explain din talaga para sa mga magulang is yung parent din. Yung president ng GPTA, mga parent officers din yung nag-explain sa kanila kaya mas relatable yung mga parents, mas mabilis nilang maiparating yung mga concerns nila sa school.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
oo. Mamaya i-explore pa natin yung bang experiences, lalo na yung mga gaps, yung mga challenges. Kasi kanina hin-highlights lang natin yung mga milestone. So, babalikan natin si Ma'am Leslie mamaya para sa iba pang pwede nating makuha based sa experience nila at mga lessons na makukuha natin dito. So, we will proceed to our next guest to discuss naman the experience of school. Medyo, challenging ang kanyang kasi kaka-install pa lang sa kanya pero malaking challenge yung kinuha niya at tinanggap niya sa sa taong ito. So we would like to ask our next guest si Sir Nico Aquino para sa kanyang sharing.
Again, good evening po sa inyo. Gaya ng binanggit ni Sir Lito, no, it's a challenge kasi kaka-designate lang ho sa akin itong June 8 yung aking appointment or designation. Pero siguro dun sa laman ng SLCP, mag-focus na lang ako dun sa engagement ng family at saka ng community at of course ng school din. Kasi dito sa Rizal, we were
Medyo nagkaka-glitch si Sir Nico, no? Humahapay ang kanyang
sa mga paaralan namin na naka-modular ang distance learning modality. So, yung pagdadala ng mga self-learning kits ang isang malaking issue na kinakaharap. So, we devised an engagement opportunity sa stakeholders, yung pong LR moves. So, sila po yung magdadala ng materials ng SLMs mula sa school papunta doon sa mga bata. Pero kung nakadepende pa rin ho 'yun sa dami ng mga mag-aaral. Kagaya ho dun sa school na hawak ko po ngayon, yung pong Hapay na Mangga ES, kasama po yung aming mga teachers. We identified 4 volunteer engagements, no. Una po yung LR hubs. Ito pong LR hubs, ito ho yung mga bagsakan or distribution points and pick-up points na pagdadalhan ng mga modules ng mga mag-aaral. Pagdating naman ho ng retrieval time, ito naman ho yung pagdadala ng mga gamit na modules or yung mga outputs ng mga estudyante, no, ng mga mag-aaral. Ngayon po, para makarating sa school or para makarating doon sa LR hubs, yung pong mga self-learning kits, yun po ay sa tulong naman ng mga LR movers. Ngayon ho, pag nakarating na sa LR hubs ulit, para makarating naman ito sa mga estudyante, meron ho kaming tinatawag na LR sweepers. Ito ho yung mga magulang na magdadala ng mga LR kits or mga packets mula doon sa LR hubs papunta na doon sa mga mismong mag-aaral. So COVID-19 is an opportunity for schools, family and community to work hand in hand or to collaborate with each other, no. Kasi ho napakalaking gampanin, no. Itong COVID-19 sa Hapay na Mangga ay isang pagtawag na pagbabalik sa role ng magulang sa edukasyon ng kanilang anak. Ngayon ho, sa amin po sa Hapay na Mangga, nagde-devise ho kami ngayon ng guidelines, no. Paano yung role ng magulang sa remote-based learning? Ano yung gampanin nila? It's a renewed role ng mga magulang. Ngayon din po, gumawa rin ho kami ngayon ng simple guidelines on how to set up learning space at home. Kasi ho, kung kung magtitingin ho kayo sa internet, masyado hong mataas yung standards no ng isang learning space at home. Pero nakakonteksto po ito, nakabatay ho ito sa konteksto ng Hapay ng Mangga, ng komunidad kung saan nandun yung eskwelahan. At ang isa ho naming pinaghahandaan ngayon bago ho nagkaroon tayo ng MECQ ulit, yung pong engagement plan or communication plan ng magulang at saka po ng eskwelahan. Kasi ho, kailangan patuloy pa rin yung feedback mechanism, kailangan pa rin ng consultation hours or mechanism ng bawat isa. No? Kailangan pa rin maramdaman ng magulang na hindi lang ang self-learning kits ang nasa bahay, yung human touch ng school sa pamamagitan ng engagement ni teacher sa kanila. So halimbawa ho ng engagement plan, kung magdi-deliver ho kami ng learning packets o ng SLMs ng Monday by 9:30 following the sample guidelines of USEC DADS doon po sa weekly home learning plan. By 9:30 siguro ho pwede ho kaming sa engagement na plan magko-call na ho, magte-text or mag-PPM na ho sa GC yung mga teachers. Mga magulang, natanggap nyo na po ba yung self-learning kits or modules? Pagdating naman ho ng Tuesday, pwede hong ang laman naman ng engagement plan ay kumusta ho ang pagsagot or pag-aaral ng anak nyo noong nakaraang araw o noong Monday. Meron ho bang mga issue or mga bahagi ng pag-aaral or ng aralin na hindi naintindihan? Yung pong mga ganun pong simpleng bagay na mahalaga na andun pa rin yung connection ng magulang at ng paaralan sa pamamagitan ng mga teachers. At dito po sa amin po ay yung kinder, very critical ho sa amin. Kasi ho, bibigyan din ho, bukod ho sa self-learning kits, gagamitin din po yung radio-based instruction. So, ang munisipyo ho ng Taytay will provide radio transistors with USB port kung saan pwedeng ipahiram po yun sa lahat ng kindergarten learners para ho, bukod sa gumagamit sila ng learning materials na printed, yung attentive listening skills ho nila ay made-develop din. Pero bukod ho dito sa radio-based instruction, we're trying to procure or somehow to ask stakeholders to provide manipulative toys sa mga kinder learners kasi ho mahalaga yung sa nakaraang session nyo kay Sir Kelvin, mahalaga na meron pa ring exercise on manipulative skills yung mga ganitong edad ng mga mag-aaral. Yun lang po Sir Dito and Ma'am Joanne.
Okay, thank you. No, talagang kayang-kayang immobilize ang stakeholder. Nandiyan ang expertise ni Sir. Kaya niyang i-engage. So basically, malaking part ng LCP niya ang engagement points. So he has identified, kung meron akong takeaway doon, he has identified 4 engagement points para ma-maximize ang involvement ng stakeholders. No, kasi nakita niya na malaki yung role at saka yung commitment na napansin niyo, malaking commitment ng even the LGU committed radio transistors for the radio-based instruction. So nakikita niyo yun. Meron ka bang question?
Wala akong question siguro maganda kasi kapag nandun ka mismo sa school setting. Nabibigyan mo siya ng more personal touch kung paano mo matatap yung resources na meron tayo or wala man. Kaya mong i-provide, kaya mong hilahin to make it possible. So siguro yung nakita kong magandang points na i-share ni Sir sa atin. Salamat din, Sir.
Thank you.
So mamaya, uli natin yan. Babalikan uli natin si Sir Nico para sa interaction natin mamaya. Susunod po na guest natin ay ang SGOD Chief ng SDO Antipolo to share naman the experience of my mother SDO. Ano na ba yung mga naging steps and measures na ginawa ng SDO, specifically siguro sa SGOD because the division has been very, very active in terms of technical assistance, and I've heard that schools are actually presenting their LCPs to the division personnel for technical assistance. So let us hear more about this measure from SDO Antipolo. Let's all welcome Sergio. Good evening.
Good evening, Bulilits, Marinjo, and ayan. Actually, it was a collaborative effort naman with the three functional divisions. And to start with, I just would like to share, inform na rin everybody na everything started with the initiative of our SDS Sir Chris when he assigned our ASDS Doc Junior to personally handle yung LCP team. So the SDO Antipolo with the leadership of Sir Chris and with the help of Sir Junya created an LCP team. So yung LCP team na yon is made up of personnel, composed of personnel from the different divisions para ma-ensure natin na all areas will be covered. So in the event na mayroong TA na kailangan ng mga schools natin, so yung team na yon will be able to address yung mga issues na yon. So from there, we utilize yung data natin from our planning and research section to identify yung mga pilot schools na isasama natin for the dry run. Afterwards, nag-create po muna tayo ng LCPTA plan para rin ma-determine natin kung sino yung mga taong ilalagay natin sa bawat aspeto at kung ano yung pwede nilang may provide, ano yung magiging TOR nila. Then we proceed dun sa dry run. In our dry run sa SDO Antipolo, 3 schools lang ang napili natin. So we have elementary, Bagong Nayon 1 Elementary School, under Dr. Flora Kahapay. So, then we have an integrated na high school po, no? Yung Dalapas National High School with Dr. Eugene Sierra and a stand-alone na senior high school under the leadership of Ma'am Rosa Tayamora, yung Antipolo City Senior High School. So we had a series of online meetings with our pilot schools to ensure that everything will be okay for the dry run. In fact, our division provided their needs like health kits, even service vehicle, and among others. Now, at the school level po, series of meetings were also conducted by the pilot schools. So, they oriented yung mga teachers as well as the parents prior po dun sa pag-conduct ng dry run. And siguro yung maganda rin na pwede natin ma-showcase sa SDO Antipolo is that we have very supportive stakeholders. We conducted series of bayanihan sa paaralan wherein we engage all our barangay captains. Ayan. So, mula yung avenue na yon ay nagbigay daan para yung mga needs ng bawat eskwelahan natin ay matugunan ng ating mga barangay. In fact, no, just to name a few, ang Bagong Nayon 1 Elementary School, yung isa sa mga pilot school natin, ay binigyan ng 1 million ng barangay para po dito po sa ating LCP. Ang Dalapas naman po ay nag-provide ng service vehicle para naman sa distribution and retrieval ng modules. Now, sa SDO Antipolo po, 1:1 po ang module. Yan po ang marching order ng ating superintendent. Kaya po, ang ating pong superintendent ay nakikipag-usap sa ating city government at sa iba pang mga stakeholders to ensure na yung modules na kailangan ay maipoproduce bago pa ang pasukan sa August 24. Now, I would like to add na meron din tayong mga LR movers, no? Tutulad na nabanggit ni Sir earlier, no? We also have LR kiosk sa mga barangays and sitios. Then, para dun sa safety, no? Siguro, this is something na very much curious din ng ibang mga parents natin. No? In SD Antipolo, ang gusto sana ng mangyari is that yung mga modules natin, mga kits, including activity sheets, will be placed in plastic envelopes. Ayan. So, ongoing po ang preparation ng ating mga schools, tipo monitoring and provision of technical assistance ng ating division personnel sa mga schools natin, and including po yung mga engagement natin with stakeholders. And as we speak, we are in the process po of checking all LCPs ng mga school kasi we would like to make sure na okay po ang pagkakalatag ng ating mga plano sa ating LCPs. And we are happy to say na maganda po ang mga resulta ng ating pag-evaluate ng mga LCPs. Sadyang napagplanuhan po ng maayos ang ating mga students. Ayan.
Maraming salamat sa mga na-share ng ating SGOD chief sa based doon sa mga na-share niya. Sinabi niya na very active yung LGU sa pag-provide ng support sa mga schools, no? And of course through the SGOD division or office. Kasi this is not just parang curriculum matters or implementation curriculum matters. We have to have a strong governance and operational support coming from their office. So through technical assistance, nagbibigay sila ng support and direction doon sa mga LCPs ng schools sa SDO and Antipolo. So very lucky yung division for having a unit or a section in the SDO or probably the whole SDO providing technical assistance for possible gaps. Meron na ba tayong na-encounter na mga gaps, Sir Joe?
Meron din po, actually, doon po sa dry run. Siguro, common naman na observation to. Much as we would like to encourage all yung mga parents to go to the school para doon sa mga orientations na yan, it turns out na meron pa rin talagang ilang parents na for some reason hindi nakakapunta. So, ito yung isa sa mga challenges natin. Tapos, yes. Dagdag ko lang, no, siguro, no, siguro yung constant din na pag-remind sa ating mga partners kasi although meron na tayong initial na agreement with the barangay, for instance, yung sitio coordinator ang siyang magdi-distribute ng modules, at some point, merong iba na medyo nakakalimot. So, siguro constant communication lang din with them.
Okay. So, dapat constant, at saka, hindi lang constant, consistent, siguro yung communication, no? Dahil isa lang naman yung direction na tinatahak ng LCP natin. And aside from that, worth noting yung pag-provide ng 1 million peso support ng bagong nayon local government. Parang sa yata to, no? Sa LMS ba tong support na to for online learning?
Actually sa sa modular siya. Sa modular
learning. Okay. Parang kanina din sa Binyan kasi parang magsusupport ang LGU ng Binyan. Parang narinig ko 1:1 yata yung kanila.
Yes po.
Malaking bagay yung mga plus the De La Paz service vehicle to transport our modules. So magandang magandang mga measures to and support. No, bukod dun sa technical assistance na binibigay ng SDO. Speaking of SDO, another guest to share. Siguro maganda-ganda kasi meron tayong one from Iligan, Mindanao ito, medyo malayo-layo. Ang special context nitong susunod na guest natin, meron silang mga island schools, island learning communities. So, pwede niyang i-share sa atin. Pero yung kaninang naipakita natin na video, may mga simulation na naganap. Meron din silang mga sinishare na bridging to talk more about these programs. Let us all welcome ang ating dear friend from SDO Palawan Province, ang OIC, OIC ASDS, Sir Felix Pamaran. Good evening, Sir Felix.
Hello, good evening, Sir Lito. Matagal na rin tayo hindi nakita. The last time was, the last time we met was in Tugigaraw, during the National Schools Press Conference.
Yeah.
Ayan, so before I share with you the things that we are doing in the Schools Division of Palawan relative to our implementation of the Learning Continuity Plan, let me just give you an idea how big Palawan is and how different the context of Palawan is as compared to other divisions. Yung Schools Division of Palawan is categorized as large division. So we have 35 districts. So from the 35 districts, we have a total of 865 schools. From 865 schools, meron kami diyang around 671 elementary schools and 194 secondary schools. So from 194 secondary schools, 81 dyan ay implementing senior high school. So that's how big Palawan is. And that's the number of schools that we have to provide directions so that we'll be able to achieve our goal in the implementation of learning continuity plan. So generally, our objective for the implementation of our division learning continuity plan, actually we call it hashtag Magiting learning continuity plan. Hashtag Magiting Palawan learning continuity plan. So we started our planning, actually ano yan, early part of March. So yung nababalita pa lang ng ang possible early closure of the school year. So we were planning as to how we can help our learners during the previous school year na matutunan yung learning competencies remaining for the school year. So our planning was actually focused there, and we thought of activities as to how we could help our learners. So we thought of implementing bridging classes. It's a bridging program so that yung mga remaining competencies unlearned by our learners due to early closure of school year ay matutunan nila during the bridging program. So in addition to that, ang consideration namin in the implementation of bridging classes is because of the number of suspended yung mga days affected by typhoon, affected by activities, school activities. So we identified a great number of days na naapektuhan yung klase. So that's one factor why we initiated the implementation of bridging classes. And it happened na nagkaroon nga ng kasi initially parang ang balita lang naman is that we will just be having until April 15 ang ating quarantine. However, dire-diretso till such time na ma-declare na move yung opening of classes. So yung aming bridging classes, we treated it also as our simulation activity. So lahat ng aming mga secondary schools, actually yung bridging classes namin is for secondary schools. That's for us to assist the learners as they transition to the next key stage. So yung mga learners from elementary na mag-junior high school, so yung graduate ng grade 6 na mag-grade 7. And also the completers natin sa junior high school grade 10 na mag-grade 11. So our bridging classes are intended for grade 7 and 11 entrance. So ang covered nito ay mga competencies for the last 2 weeks of the fourth quarter, which we believe na medyo less yung attention ng mga teachers to teach these competencies dahil nga sa early closure of the previous school year. So ongoing siya. Supposedly, we have started our bridging classes ng June. However, due to a lot of considerations, kasama na yung extension ng quarantine, so we moved it ng July. So we started it July 20, and we're expecting to complete the bridging classes ng until next week. So these bridging classes are treated as our simulation activity so that our schools will be able to simulate the conditions that will likely happen as we start the school year on August 24. However, may mga schools kasi tayo sa elementary who would also like to do counterpart activity, yung activity counterpart ng bridging classes. So they have their catch-up programs. And those catch-up program or catch-up classes are also we also treat them as our simulation activities. So itong aming mga programa na to, it's part of our learning continuity plan. And what the modality that they are using here is modular distance learning, because from the very beginning we were definite that in Palawan, because of a lot of conditions, bawa yung poor ang signal na which is the general problem in the province of Palawan. Tapos yung internet, I mean the availability of gadgets at home ng ating mga bata. So we decided to have the modular distance learning as the main modality for all schools in the schools division of Palawan. And other learning modalities will just be support modalities that will supplement the implementation of modular distance learning. So lahat ng mga schools, alam nila that they will be implementing modular distance learning. So in the ongoing catch-up classes and bridging classes, they're using this modality. However, the good thing here is yung ating mga schools, they also have their own initiatives to use other modalities to support modular distance learning. For example, there's one district, yung Rizal district, na they're using radio-based instruction to support the implementation of modular distance learning dito pa lang sa ating simulation activity. And it's the same thing that they will do as we open the school year. They're doing this because yung kanilang LGU is supporting the schools in the district. Yung LGU nila paid for the pre-airing time ng kanilang radio-based instructions. So, ang mga learners naman were given radio transistors ng mga partners ng school. So, as they go on with the simulation activity using modular distance learning, supplemented ito ng radio-based instruction. So, and there's one elementary also, somewhere in the southern part of Palawan, yung Marikit Elementary School. Ang initiative naman ng school head, in preparation for the opening of classes, tapos they're also using it now that we are having our simulation activity. Bumili yung school head ng radio transmitter. So the school, yung elementary school, has its school-based radio transmitter. We're just happy to see yung mga preparation ng Marikit Elementary Schools kasi may mga recording na silang nangyayari. They're also doing other requirements para sa radio-based instruction, and that will supplement the modular distance learning to be implemented in all schools in that school. Another thing which I would like to share also, the fact that we are implementing modular distance, we will be implementing modular distance learning in the opening of classes. Actually, dalawa yung pinamimilian namin. Ang options namin doon is the digital modular distance learning and printed modular distance learning. Ang aming pangarap is to have the digital modular distance learning. So initially, when we were doing all these preparations for the opening of classes, we looked for mga partners who could actually help us to realize our objective to implement modular distance learning in digital format. So nakahanap naman kami, and the good thing is that the province of Palawan, through of course the leadership of the governor, pledged the SEF amounting to 123,275,000 for the gadgets of the learners. So yung gadgets na to na mako-cover nitong 123 million will be given to senior high school. So for the opening of classes, we will just have the modular distance learning form for elementary and for junior high school. But for senior high school, we have already the pledge of the provincial government for the gadgets. So our learners in senior high school will have the the digital modular distance learning. So we'll just give the soft copy. We'll just download the soft copies of the modules dun sa mga gadgets nila, and they will be doing all these modules using the gadgets which will be provided to them using the SEF. So ang ating mga LGUs din, yung LGU, pledge also their SEF kasi nga itong mga SEF na to, ito yung mga tira dahil hindi na natuloy yung aming regional athletic meet, tapos wala na rin tayong palarong pambansa. So yung SEF, supposedly for those activities, so our municipal LGUs and the provincial government realigned the budget para sa bilang support sa implementation of learning continuity plan. So yung mga municipal LGUs natin, ang support nila, ang pledge nila dun sa SEF is also for modular distance learning. So may mga iba rin tayong mga partners na nagpi-pledge for the implementation of modular distance learning. So itong aming activities in preparation for the modular distance learning includes training of teachers and training and orientation also of parents. Kasi the fact that we will be using modular distance learning, but we are also aware it's going to be a great challenge for kinder to grade 3 learners. So we have to orient parents who can serve, yung potential parents who can serve as para teachers, who can help the kinder to grade 3 learners during the modular distance learning. Ang aming LCP also was already presented to the provincial government. So we were invited to present the LCP, and they're giving their full support to the Schools Division of Palawan in our implementation of LCP. So by the way, I'd like also to emphasize that before we were able to finalize the learning continuity plan, it has actually passed through a lot of revisions. And prior to that, we had our survey so that we'll be able to make sure that our activities in the learning continuity plan are grounded on yung data ng ating schools division. So in the survey that we have conducted early part of April, so nakalagay doon ay marami ang gusto pa rin ng face-to-face. I'm sure that it's a common thing for other divisions also, for other divisions. However, ayun nga, hindi naman tayo pwedeng magkaroon ng face-to-face. So we have to consider other modalities. So ang aming, kasi the reason why perhaps many of our parents would like to have the face-to-face is because napakaraming mga isolated schools located in geographically isolated areas. So we have counted around 109 elementary schools and 17 secondary schools which are located in geographically isolated areas na very less yung chance na magkaroon ng transmission. So however, dahil meron tayong sinusunod na policy and that we are not allowed to have face-to-face classes unless na mag-declare ang central office na pwede. So ayan, so we just use the modular distance learning in the schools division of Palawan, and we have memorandum pertinent to that the main modality for the schools in Palawan will be modular distance learning, and it will be supported by support modalities such as online, radio-based, if the resources of the schools would warrant, and also yung resources ng mga learners. Ano po? Another thing which I would like also to share with you, yung sa printing ng modules. So in terms of printing of modules, kasi itong sa simulation namin, ready na kami dito April pa lang, April-May. That's our preparation. We have a complete set of guidelines, modules for the modular distance, for the bridging classes and kasha programs. So, but for the reproduction of modules, for the opening of classes, so ang ating mga schools are having an ongoing printing of modules using their MOOE. Ang priority nila is first 4 weeks of the quarter. Kasi nga, although we have also our budget downloaded by the central office, may malaki-laki naman, but kumpara dun sa requirement, medyo mas mababa siya dun sa required naming budget. But we have received a budget, and that will be for the procurement ng printing ng modules. Pero we expect delay for that. Kaya we instructed the schools to have their school-based reproduction of modules. At ang priority ay yung first 4 weeks para yung aming procurement sa division level ay makahabol naman. Ano po? Relative to that, our division has issued a memorandum para sabihin sa mga school heads na they shall be using their MOOE, a minimum of 65% of their school MOOE for the reproduction of SLM. So, and that makes the schools ready for the opening of classes. So, preparation.
Ang dami ng ano, no?
All of those preparations that we are doing, yan ay led by our division superintendent.
Yun. Si Ma'am Riza nagte-take note, mukhang may nakukuha siya sa'yo. Maraming principals din na naka-tune in sa atin and saying na marami silang nakukuha from all of you na pwede pa nilang gawin sa kanilang mga adjustments, no? So basically nakuha natin kay ASDS Felix na talagang grabe yung geographical setup kasi ng Palawan. Kaya basically everyone in Palawan ay magkakaroon ng module, either printed or digital. So that's basic for everyone. As may mga support ito na RBI, may support ito na online, depende pa sa geographical context. Meron ding mga adjustments na ginawa ang LGU, yung mga supposedly nakalaan for sports activities, knowing na yung possible daw na hindi magkaroon, ay ni-adjust nila at ibigay sa school for printing of their modules, which is, I think, is good. No? Tumayo muna si Sir Felix, baka may kinukuha siya. Yan, because I'm supposed to ask Sir Felix kasi parang may nakain akong lamok. Sir Felix, ano yung pinakamalayong lugar sa Palawan, and ano yung mga naging challenge so far, or na-address na ba yung mga challenge na to? Kasi na-mention mo kanina may mga geographically isolated talaga. Curious lang ako dun sa pinakamalayo. Ano yung context ng pinakamalayong community? Is it an island school? Ano ba siya? At how do you intend to have education na continued doon sa community na yon?
Oo, I'm sure na alam ito ng lahat. Ang pinakamalayo sa amin, hindi ko pa rin ito nararating considering na ilang months pa lang naman ako sa Schools Division of Palawan. But that's a school in Kalayaan Island. So I'm sure na naririnig niyo na yung mga islands sa West Philippine Sea. There's a school there in a particular island. And we have also teachers there. Although yung school naman, geographically isolated siya, pero it's actually a very impressive school kasi it's supported by the government. May mga partners doon supporting the learners in the school.
Parang sarap puntahan.
Oo nga eh. So you can reach that, parang sasakay ka doon sa sasakyan yata ng provided ng Navy. So, parang it will take you 3 days. 3 days. Or you can also by air. Pwede kung meron kang chopper. So diretso ang so they're also oriented. Actually, we're thinking of before we were thinking of visiting this school, so we can also know the real situation there. Although our supervisors, the district supervisor and the education program supervisor, are constantly communicating with them para makuha yung update. But we're also planning to visit the school so we can actually see yung kanilang situation. But they're also part of our learning continuity plan. We have considered their situation, and they're also part of lahat ng aming mga initiatives, including the reproduction of modules, yung distribution of modules. That's one thing that we really have to plan kung paano madideliver yung mga modules. But as I was saying a while back, kasi nga may mga schools na kagaya niyan, which has a very less chances of yung para makontaminate para sa yung COVID-19. So, we would see if it will be allowed that there will be face-to-face. That school may be one of the schools that will have face-to-face. But for now, we're still following the instructions of the central office na there will be no face-to-face unless magkaroon tayo ng instructions from the government and from the DepEd.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. No? Pati yung bridging program nila for grade 7 and 11 entrance, I think that's also a very good program, no? As included in their LCP. So congratulations po sa lahat sa inyo, no, for a job well done in your learning continuity plan. We are encouraging our viewers to post your questions. Pwede po natin siya i-direct doon sa ating guest if you want, no? So expect natin sila maya-maya. But now we'll have a little or a short interaction muna between and amongst the guest natin. I'd like to explore. Meron kang kay Sir, mamaya na daw. Kay Sir Joe Domingo, since they are providing technical assistance to schools, I'd like to know kung is there in any way that the LCP has to be complementary sa existing ESIP ng school? How do we go about it?
Yes. Actually, if you'll remember, the ESIP was drafted prior to the presence of the COVID. So basically, there were some projects which were included in the ESIP which are no longer applicable nowadays. So we had parang some sort of adjustment, a review and adjustment with our AIP. AIP na siya, no? Kasi lifted na siya from the ESIP, taking into consideration yung situation that we are having right now. So we put more premium doon sa needs ng school as far as LCP is concerned, and we make sure na yung other activities which were previously included in the ESIP na hindi na ngayon applicable ay mapalitan na.
Okay.
Or magamit na sa ibang mga projects na mas magre-respond dun sa current needs ng school.
So basically, may mga adjustments na ginawa based sa ESIP, based sa sa new normal, sa condition natin.
Yes, including yung mga requirements to ensure yung safety at to ensure na yung health and safety protocols will be followed.
Okay, so I'm looking at 3 documents: your LCP, your ESIP, and then your OPCRF sa school level. So supposedly nagkakaroon ng mid-year review si OPCRF mga around May to July if I'm not mistaken. Kasama ba to sa mga adjustments na ginagawa natin, that the adjustments from the LCP going to ESIP and OPCRF are consistent?
Yes, definitely. Dapat ma-ensure natin yung alignment ng mga sa mga tatlong documents na yan. Kasi yung mga implementation of the different programs and projects, both in the ESIP as well as in sa LCP, should be aligned doon sa performance ng ating mga schools to ensure that all of these projects will be implemented. And the resources na nakalagay doon sa ating AIP and SIP will be utilized well. So dapat nakikita yan talaga.
So basically, we have the same KRAs, we have the same objectives, we are just trying to adjust the strategies based sa requirement ng new normal.
Yes, kasi kung yung previously yung sinet natin na mga activities are no longer applicable, chances are in the end hindi natin ma-achieve yung sinet nating objectives as far as our OPCRF is concerned.
Okay, so maraming salamat doon sa because I think mahalagang malaman yan, especially may mga guests din tayong school heads because the adjustment, we should look into a bigger picture that the adjustments should be present dito sa mga blueprints na meron tayo sa school. No, so importante na makita natin yung mga adjustments na yan. And talking of adjustments, I'd like to ask our 3 school heads, may na-encounter na ba kayo nag-gap sa implementation, and ano yung adjustments na ginawa, or kung wala pa, ano yung mga pinaplano natin ng mga adjustments na gagawin? Umpisahan natin siguro muna kay Sir Nico para may na-anticipate na ba tayo? Kung wala pa tayo na-experience na gap, may mga na-anticipate na ba tayo, and how do we go about addressing or improving siguro?
Hello, sir. Noong pagpasok ko sa school, nagkaroon kasi ng memo from the division, parang I think April or May, na kailangang i-revisit na or i-revise or i-adjust na yung SIP, no, yung SIP. So, yun po, na nagawa naman na namin i-adjust yung SIP na syempre anchor doon sa COVID situation. And yung mga hindi, gaya ng binanggit ni Sir Joe, yung mga hindi talaga priority ngayong taon, hindi na muna namin itinuloy. So, ang priority needs so ay yun, yung maitawid itong school year na using the LCP at saka ho yung division-wide reading program called BRB4, no, yung bawat bata bumabasa. Parang gayan para sa bawat bata bumabasa. So hindi naman yun apektado ng COVID-19 kasi ho nagkaroon na, natuloy na rin yung mga online trainings with parents. Sa ngayon ho nasa school level na yon. So yung adjustment, malaki yung adjustment, sir, dito sa sa resources. So kaya kailangan maging creative din, at saka siguro maganda rin yung training ko noon sa SOCMOB, yung resource gap analysis. The first week I was in the school, we had inventory of materials, no? Kaya, and then I even invited photographer, no, para ipakita kung ano yung totoong mukha ng school, whether it's good or not so good. Kasi gusto ko rin ma-own ng bawat isa, ma-own yung ano yung estado ng eskwelahan without sugarcoating, no? Parang ayun, nakita namin na maraming dapat gawin, pero kung babalikan mo yung COVID situation, bata muna yung umpisa. So, kung ang school, walang bata, so pwedeng yung mga urgent physical facilities concerns ng school ay hindi muna gawin kasi iparamdam sa mga magulang, especially sa mga magulang, school, kahit wala ang bata sa loob ng paaralan, naglilingkuran ang mga guro para dun sa mga mag-aaral, mga anak nila.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Talagang yung engagement ng parent. Maganda yung sinabi mo na na since walang bata sa school, we divert all our resources muna doon sa kanilang home space, kumbaga. How do we improve that? Kasi virtual na yung magiging school nila.
Yes, sir.
Hindi sila physical.
Pero Sir Lito, idagdag ko lang, sorry. In terms of health and security or health and safety ng mga teachers din, we already procured an air purifier doon sa office, no? Tsaka doon sa plano namin doon sa printing office kasi magkakaroon kami ng printing room. Printing room is the room sa gate, no? Para kasi pagbabagsak yung mga papel, hindi na ganun kadami yung bibit-bitin. And nakapag-procure na rin kami ng hospital Bulilits sterilizer. Para pagdating sa retrieval ng mga LRs and outputs, hindi yung direktang hawakan ng mga teachers. So lalagay muna yon for 30 minutes, i-disinfect yun. Definitely gabi, no? Kasi yung UV light pala, it works sa dark. So gabi ho yun. So, yun, parang hanggat maaari, pa rin, balanse pa rin yung pagtingin namin sa mga guro at saka dun sa mga bata in terms of health and safety, no? Parehas namin siyang tinitingnan. Thank you, sir.
Pupunta tayo, thank you Nico, no? Punta tayo kay Ma'am Riza. may mga na-identify na tayong mga gaps, ma'am, na baka kasi yung mga gaps na na-identify natin ay the same din sa gaps na na-experience ng ibang school heads ngayon and probably yung parents din. Ano na yung mga gaps na na-experience natin at paano tayo nag-adjust?
Once again, good evening. I am pleased to hear the sharing of our experts from the different divisions and from the different school heads. I would like to share that si Sir Felix, yung budget for sports, we also redirected in our division per instruction from our division superintendent that for the modular distance learning. But we have to wait, and then the school cannot wait, and that is another gap, no? So redirect yung money for sports, but then the when is the question. So yun po ang isang gap. Meron pong budget, pero kailan? And we will be starting in August 24. So yun ang isang gap. Another one is ang enrollment namin. I have listed here as I heard from the sharing, sir, Mami Juan and Daddy dito, that the sharing, the enrollment. We could not enroll learners if the parents will not enroll them based from the survey, di ba? Meron tayong remote enrollment. We also have the listed enrollees prior from the school year 2019-2020. So we could not just enroll them because they are listed in our 2019-2020. We have to get the parents' consent or considering that they will come to school to write in the survey form that they should be enrolled. So hindi pa 100% ang enrollment namo based from our data. If we have 2,215 learners, hindi pa totally 100% kami na-enroll. And then we knew that yan kasi ang trend dito sa amin. Magja-jump up yung enrollment namin, mag-heighten yung enrollment namin once the school started or even at the opening, mga 2 weeks from the opening. Doon talaga mag-i-enroll yung mga parents namin of their learners. And we don't know because some of the private schools already were closed already, no? So we believe mag-i-increase pa yung enrollment namin. And another, that is the second one, and the third one is the work from home, the AWA scheme. We cannot perform best by just calling our parents because some of our parents, learners, we cannot contact them. Hindi namin makukontak yung mga parents but because not all of them has a means of, in terms of means of communication, hindi namin matatawagan, wala na kaming contact, hindi na namin matitrace. So, and then we are afraid to let our teachers roam around the city because we have localized transmission na. So, what we did, we tapped our purok presidents, but meron pa ding mga bata na hindi namin makukuha yung mga contact details nila, saan na sila ngayon, and that is also a gap. So, number 4 na yun. So, and another one, we already mobilized the effort. Even we have now the teleradyo. Our division, our superintendent has initiated a teleradyo. Meron na po kaming teleradyo so that even at the remote areas, the hinterlands, because I've been a school head in the hinterlands, wala talagang signal doon for internet. So ways of communication is yung radyo. So congratulations to our division for having that. Mayroon pong team na mga gagaling na mga guro, mga school heads na mayroon po silang radio-based instruction po yun. Another one is hindi lang po gaps mo, no? We have the home learning space. So sinabi po ni Sir, ano pangalan ni Sir? Ni Sir na hindi lahat dapat ang home learning space ay magagara or magaganda. Dapat din kung anong makakaya ng mga parents. That is correct. That is what we have the prototype home learning space. And with that, we also have the teachers home space, no? Teaching space sa teachers kasi work from home ang mga teachers dito. We have the skeleton workforce, but then mostly we have the work from home. So anong ginagawa ng mga teachers doon? How can we trace them? We have the teacher space, home space for them para po parang kahit wala sila sa room nila, sa classroom, they could still have their home teaching space, teaching learning space. Once they have the online learning, makikita din ng parents na nag-i-effort pala yung mga teachers and as well as the costume, the uniform. If you can see in our simulation, ang mga bata din namin ay pinawe-wear po namin ng uniform. Ang yung gaps lang namin doon sa online learning namin is the internet connection. Nagkapo-problema po kami. Kasi po, lagi po naming pinapractice yung aming mga teachers to have virtual meetings, to use the web, meron pa kami mga webinars, mga Google Meet, mga Zoom, but then ang problema po talaga namin dito is the internet connection. Even even we will have another internet connection, but when we use simultaneously, wala talagang maririnig, lalo na sa panahon namin ngayon na laging may typhoon, hindi po maganda yung internet connection namin. Yun po ang is another gap. At tapos po, I like the idea of having the service vehicle. I asked our local about it. Wala pang say kasi ang aming priority is the module, the container of the module. Lahat po ng mga elementary learners namin ay bibigyan ng plastic na container. Lahat po doon ilalagay nila para to be safe from tear and wear, no? So, yun po ang ibibigay ng aming local school board at saka yung bond paper. And I believe we are waiting for that. We are waiting. Yan po ang gap. We are waiting. Pero kailan pa po? Kaya yung mga schools namin dito, we have to move ahead of time. Hindi po natin ipapawait yung ating education, ating mga learners kasi malapit na po yung opening of classes, di ba? Nagiging gap yun kasi kailan darating ang mga kagamitan na pinapromise ng ating government officials. So, yun po ang mayroon po kaming mga options, plans, no? Plan A, Plan B, kasi hindi natin alam kailan darating yung mga biyayang galing sa Panginoon. And ito po ay isang benchmarking. I like having kasi po sa bridging program, parang wala po kami bridging program. At saka, I am so amazed that ready na for April and May pa, ready na yung mga modules. Totoo po, Sir Felix, yung mga modules ninyo, April and May, ready na. Yung mga competencies.
That's for the bridging classes po. That's for the bridging classes.
Okay. Kasi po, yung aming modules is from the regional office. So, mayroon pong mga assign yung mga divisions kung anong subjects at anong grade level ang modules. So, ang kinukuha po namin ay yung ELF at saka yung MELF. And naprapromise po kami na we will top stakeholders kasi sabi ng aming local school board that they will provide us of materials for printing. Sana po, yun po ang aming ipinagdarasal ng aming sir,
tutulungan namin kayo mag-book
yung mga materials na pinapromise kasi sometimes you could say sana po, promises that made to be broken. Yun po ang mga gaps. At saka for MOA po, ginamit po namin ang MOA. Kagaya ng sinasabi ninyo, no problem with that. Kasi yun talaga ang nagsisave sa aming school. But then, nagkakaproblema din kami dito kasi our electricity, mahal yung aming electric power dito. Mahal. Kahit meron kaming mga Cristina Falls, mahal ang aming kuryente dito. So we have to make sure that more percent goes to our learners, no? And then another one, okay lang po ba? Kasi nagtitake down.
Hindi po, kahit another 100 po.
Ay, ganun po ba? And tapos, yung mga technical assistants, meron po kaming school readiness. Kahit po may COVID dito sa amin, still we continue our activity. Yung technical assistance ng aming division office, the school readiness, continuous po ito. Wala pong gaps ang ginagawa. Mayroon po naging communication from our division office. And then, mayroon po kaming health protocol na laging nire-remind sa amin ng aming division office. We have our nurses, our doctors who always have the webinar about it. Not only that one, we also have that DRRM webinars for our teachers, for our school heads. Marami pong series of webinars to equip school heads, teachers, the officials, para po ready na ang DepEd Iligan. Yun po ang maraming gaps. Hindi lang gaps.
Okay po. Yes po.
Sana po yung mga sharing ninyo ay makarinig din ang aming mga officials na ibigay na kung ano ang nararapat para sa ating mga kabataan, para sa bayan, para sa bata, para sa bayan, sulong edukalidad. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, ma'am. Ayun, nakikita din natin na may mga support yung LGU, but we also have to understand that the LGU support is something external and beyond our control. So, and focusing on some financial matters perhaps, since all of the funds have already been programmed a year before, di ba? It's a tedious task to realign with existing fund, and that is something that we have siguro to understand. That's why it's taking time. But the important thing is that kung meron ng commitment, that is something we can hold on to at this moment. Kasi malaking at mahabang proseso yung pag-realign ng mga fund na ito doon sa priority natin ngayon. Maganda sa ibang SDOs natin, say for example, Palawan, na foresee na yung maaaring mangyari kasi they have been preparing as early as April for this one. So, maganda po yung mga ginagawang adjustments nila Ma'am Liza sa Iligan to close the gap or at least address yung ibang problem siguro. Kay Ma'am Leslie siguro, share tayo briefly siguro ano lang yung gap na nakikita natin or experience and how do we go about it?
Nung sa simulation po, ang mga na-encounter namin, halimbawa, yung nag-identify na kami ng catchment area or yung place para sa kiosk, pero biglang yung para doon dadalhin yung mga modules. Pero biglang na-identify yung lugar na yon as a critical point, a critical area dito sa Binyan kasi mataas yung COVID case. So, hindi pwedeng pumasok doon. So, bago yung simulation namin, biglang nagpalit kami ng lugar kung saan pa pwedeng, na medyo malapit din doon sa original. Tapos, syempre nakipag-coordinate ulit sa LGU kasi kailangan strict yung health protocols kasi nga identified as critical area yung location. Syempre pupunta yung mga parents para kunin yung mga modules. Although, kagaya nga nung nabanggit ko, hindi ganun kadami yung parents na lalabas kasi namin siya as per group na, parent leaders na siya. Ganun. Tapos, yung mga activities, ganun din po, in-adjust namin yung mga activities, paano gagawin, halimbawa yung mga peer tutorials ng mga bata, Tapos yung reading program, hanggang ngayon lalabi pa rin kami ng mga community tutors para maituloy namin yung mga ganong programs pa rin ng school. Then yung sa resources, yung realignment ng resources. Tapos sa simulation namin, may mga ginawa kaming mga monitoring forms ng parents saka ng teachers na tingin namin dapat siyang ibaguhin din kasi halimbawa meron kami doon na parang chart siya na i-check ng parent kung ano yung mga ginawa ng anak niya within the day, ano yung mga para tracking lang no, para pag i-submit. Pero nakita namin na hindi sapat yung pag-check lang. So dapat may feedback or may comment din or may time kung kung anong oras siya ginawa ng bata kasi self-paced nga siya. So yun yung mga nakita namin na mga i-adjust. Tapos na ano din namin na yun nga pagkabalik ng module matagal pagkabalik niya Friday pa siya binalik. So yung pag-check ng mga teachers ng module tapos pagbabalik ng feedback sa mga bata matagal pa siya. So pwedeng mangyari na week 3 pa maibibigay, na ibigay na namin yung week 2 na nagagawin bago pa maibigay yung feedback kung tama ba yung mga sagot nila. So yun yung nakita namin. Tapos ang nakita namin na possible solution doon, kung may yung mga estudyante kahit hindi sila naka-ODL, pero may pwede silang maka-access sa Facebook, pwedeng i-send na nila doon para immediate din yung feedback checking. Tapos pwede din na kung kaya nilang i-text or sila matawagan din ng mga teachers no via siguro sa Messenger din ganun kasi yung libre medyo costly din kasi sa teacher kung tatawagan niya isa-isa. Yun yung mga nakita namin na gaps nung so far dun sa simulation namin.
Okay. Siguro sa instructional aspect na hindi ganun ka-prompt and immediate yung feedback based sa experience ng SDO niya. Especially ngayon kasi ang regions 3, 4, and NCR tayo yung nasa NECQ status. So medyo maging extra challenge yung pagbibigay ng immediate feedback from the kids, no? And I mean, sa kids natin, feedback ng kanilang performance. Now, punta ako kay Sir Felix. Basically, yung mga schools natin ngayon, kasi nakapag-prepare na sila, nakapag-simulate, and they have identified gaps at nakapag-adjust na. I'd like to know, sa point of view sa SDO level, if important din, kasi kanina si Ma'am, meron siyang plan B, plan C, plan D. How important din for us in the SDO level siguro, na makita natin na ma-simulate din yung ibang options. Kasi knowing na yung magiging health, yung risk severity, pwedeng magbago anytime by September, November, going to January. Importante ba na at least ma-simulate din yung mga contingency plans ng schools?
Yes, Sir Lita. Actually, although we have our memorandum that all schools shall be implementing modular distance learning, but hindi naman namin na pinipigilan ang mga schools to also use other learning modalities. But we're saying that other modalities will just be supplemental learning modalities for modular distance learning. We're pushing through the digital format. Initially kasi we had our cost analysis and we found out that it's more cost efficient if we'll be using gadgets as compared to printed modules. So we have already our computation that and parang nasa 40 to 50% ang difference. Parang in our latest computation, if we will be using gadgets over the printed modules, ang requirement will just be although hundreds of millions and billions, pero as I was saying, 40 to 50% ang difference. So that's also the reason why the provincial government supported our yung goal na mag-modular distance learning in digital format. However, due to limited budget, that's only for senior high school. So, but we are still open, modular distance learning in printed format and we have our senior high school for the digital format because they will have the gadgets. But other schools are also simulating the use of other learning modalities, as I was saying, Rizal, mga schools doon, they're using radio-based instructions. There are also schools in Coron Coastal na supported ng parang Propoturo, para it's a program where they have the gadgets and they have the internet connectivity. They're also simulating that online learning modality. Yung reason namin why we will be using modular distance learning, kasi ang Palawan, it's a general concern yung weak ang internet signal, and we also have very limited number ng mga learners na may mga available or existing gadgets which are required for the online distance learning. So, may mga teachers din tayo na wala ring gadgets which shall be used for online distance learning. So, the most practical in the context of Palawan is modular distance learning. However, we have tunga. So, it's either na printed or digital. I'd like also to share with you na yung dun sa realignment of AIP. Actually, we were discussing this before sa school heads during our previous meetings with them, na considering na yung Division LCP is a supplemental plan for our Division Educational Development Plan. The school LCP is also a supplemental plan para siyang magiging supplemental to AIP. So yung adjustments were instructed to schools na yung AIP nila should be aligned with the LCP. So para yung funding, there will be no problem sa funding. So we also have our team para mag-review ng LCP. When they were asked to submit the LCP, there's a particular team in the division office. Actually headed siya ng SGOD, led by SGOD. But I'm the one leading the review. Kasama ang accountant doon sa pagre-review because the accountant is seeing to it that yung LCP is also aligned with the AIP. Although we're saying that this can serve, the LCP can serve as the AIP for this year kasi nga lahat ng ating mga kailangan in the context of yung pandemic situation yung situation natin that we're in a pandemic. So dapat ay yun ang ating focus, yung mga activities na nandun. So we also have our review of AIP and it will follow also yung review ng SIP because the supposedly yung ating AIP is culled from the SIP. So in terms of challenges at the division level, at the moment we have our enrollment na parang nasa 85.92% pa lang. Although if we will be categorizing that dun sa quadrant na binigay ng central office, nasa advanced level na rin naman kami. However, we still have a gap in the enrollment. The good thing there is we have already a project that is in place, yung Sagyap Bata. That's actually a child-find activity. The only thing is that we have to put it in the context of new normal because before the strategies under that project ay nasa yung old normal. So we have to adjust the strategies in the context of new normal. So that's a challenge for us because everything shall be adjusted based on the existing or the emerging health situation. We also have our challenge sa reproduction. So because aside from the fact na we're done already with the reproduction of modules para dun sa bridging alone only, alone po ito bridging. All schools are doing bridging classes and these bridging classes are considered, we are treating this as simulation. So done na po yun. However, our challenge is the reproduction for the first quarter of the coming school year. At the moment po, yung mga schools po natin, yung first 2 weeks po ang kanilang focus. Actually, almost done na po sila. But if we are to categorize that based on the quadrants provided by the central office, parang pumapatak pa rin siya dun sa lagging behind. Although there are schools na maganda na yung mga accomplishments, like schools in Bataraza 1, Coron Coastal, and also in Taytay. There are schools na meron ng printing na umabot na sa week 7, week 8. So nasa ano na sila, nasa ano nga yan, progressing level ng reproduction. However, there are schools naman na medyo lagging behind. So first 2 weeks pa lang yung kanilang on the process. But then we are saying na modules which will be procured by the division office will also be given to the schools. So we're just telling to the schools na they have to expect delays. Kaya yung first 2 weeks dapat ma-printan nila yon. So that if there will be delays, kasi ang aming target is to procure yung week 3 to 10 for the first quarter. So we will be delivering that. So in time pa rin naman. So we just hope that we will be able to deliver the modules to the schools bago dumating yung week na wala pang modules na nire-produce sa mga schools. But for now, ready na for the first 2 weeks ang mga schools na.
Ready na for the first 2 weeks. Pakita natin the same setup, no? May review process, may review team ang Palawan katulad ng SDO Antipolo. And this is being led by the ASTS plus the SDOD team and the accountant, ano. Pwede na bang MOV si LCP sa OPCRF ng rating ng principals?
Complete with the progress in the implementation. Yung aming template actually, yung first template namin for the LCP, there's a column there where the school should be writing there the progress of the implementation of each of the activities included in their LCP aligned to the objectives set para sa LCP. So, and we're asking them to report the progress every time we have our meeting. Before April and May, every week we have our meeting with the school heads. However, itong pagpasok ng June, we limited our meetings with the school heads. Last week of each month po ang aming meeting with the school heads. So we would know the progress of the implementation of the activities in their LCP. So pero ongoing pa rin po yung review because their LCPs are still open for revision kasi nga nag-a-adjust po tayo depending on the emerging situation in their locality.
Okay. Thank you din pala ako. I almost forgot kasi I brought with me the whole CID team last year sa SDO Palawan Province to benchmark. Kaya alam kong ready sa distance learning ang Palawan dahil yung mechanism nila doon na benchmark na namin last year. Pumunta kami dyan. So salamat. At SGOD team namin, kasama namin pumunta doon sa Palawan. And we know including
parang wala pa ako doon.
Hindi lang namin napunta yung kasi syempre 3 days yung travel. Yung malayong but we know how established distance learning including alternative learning system doon sa
hoping that we can benchmark Sir Lito.
Dalhin mo sa Palawan ng Iligan. Welcome naman tayo doon.
Opo, kung kaya niyo pong bumiyahe ngayon po.
Oo. May follow-up question si Ma'am Miss Joanne. Si Ma'am Joanne.
Follow-up actually, ibang aspect, no? So kay Sir Joanne at kay Sir Felix, how do you reach out po for private schools naman? Kasi di ba, so kasama rin naman kami sa system. So paano nyo ina-address naman yung needs nila? Yun po.
May assistance ba or how do you reach out sa private schools needs naman?
Okay. Just recently we had an online meeting with all the school all the private school administrators, but it's more of clarifying lang yung guidelines or yung mga requirements regarding the opening of classes. Remember, we have these DepEd orders which were recently issued, like yung 17 na pinaka-recent, I guess. Yung may mga requirements po ang mga schools in relation with COVID pandemic, di po ba? So, kasi we received a lot of questions or inquiries regarding din sa mga requirements like yung mga certifications, mga ganyan. So we feel like there is a need for us to clarify all of these things, and so with our MNE, we coordinated also with our region, and we were very fortunate because yung ating personnel supervisor in charge ng QAAD was the one who helped us in explaining yung guidelines, and it turned out to be successful naman because everything was explained very well. So as of now, ito yung initiative that we have done as far as the private school is concerned. Kasi yun yung pinaka immediate concern nila. Yes, because as we all know, even the private schools are also preparing na rin for the opening
What
of
about sa
classes.
Palawan
Yeah.
naman, sir? Paano naman ang assistance in private schools?
We have our MNE section in the SGOD that takes charge of the private schools. Actually, before the issuance of the PED Order number 13, yung readiness checklist, they already they were able to craft a draft pa lang po ng readiness checklist. However, dumating po yung DepEd Order number 13, and we explained the contents to private schools. However, there were concerns. We asked for their clarifications, and we tried to also address their concerns and their issues on DepEd Order number 13, yung readiness checklist ng ating mga private schools sa kanilang implementation of LCP. Our SGOD also provided technical assistance in preparing their LCP. Because before kasing dumating yung DepEd Order number 13, ang mga public schools have already the LCP. So subject for review na yung time na yon ang LCP ng public school. So yung aming SGOD also provided technical assistance to private schools so they could also craft their LCP because that's one of the requirements for them to open the classes. So this time po, ang mga private schools in Palawan are complying with the requirements based on the issued readiness and preparation requirements para sa mga private schools.
Kasi as far as we know po, diba, halos yung mga private schools talaga, ngayon ang apektado. Yung iba nga, nag-close na muna temporarily dahil dun sa situation. So, sana in the future, wag makalimutan kasi syempre katulong din naman ng mga nasa private sectors na sa learning ng mga bata. Yeah.
Meron na ba?
Hindi naman pwedeng kalimutan dahil sila
Oo.
part pa rin ng DepEd. That's why we're providing technical assistance to private schools as far as we can. Lahat ng pwede namin may provide na assistance.
Aside from technical assistance, meron na bang mga nag-simulate din sa part ng private schools?
Oo. Actually, may mga private schools na nagtatanong regarding our bridging classes. Initially kasi yung bridging classes naman, it's just for us to assist the learners as they transition to the next key stage. And then eventually, we treated them as our simulation activities. So yung mga private school nagtatanong, should they be doing the same din ba? So for private schools in Palawan who wanted to have simulation activity, they were allowed naman to do the same. So they would also be able to foresee yung possible things that may happen as they open the classes. However, may mga private schools kasi na nakapag-open na ng classes this nung nakaraang July. So we're just communicating with them and we're monitoring online the progress of their classes because we're also reporting the progress of their classes sa regional office. Ano po? Here, by the way, dun sa simulation, both in yung sa public schools, tapos yung other preparation of the private schools, we issued also, along with the guidelines kasi ng aming mga bridging classes, yung mga simulation activities, attached there is a sheet also where we are asking for the specific challenges encountered by our school heads and teachers as they conduct the simulation activity. And we have our data. We have already collected yung mga specific challenges that they have encountered. However, dun sa template kasi namin, we ask them also of the solutions that they have done at their level to address the challenges. So somehow, may mga ideas na rin kami because we're thinking of using these identified challenges ng mga schools as our point of discussion on how we can provide technical assistance in the opening of classes. So may mga ideas na magaganda which we can actually use para i-assist din yung ibang schools that they can use particular solutions on a specific problem or challenge identified during the simulation activity. So our MNE is on the process of collating everything reported by private schools and also ng ang CID natin, yung mga reported naman ng mga public schools on the challenges and also the solutions that they have done at their level.
Thank you, no? Siguro yung last message natin before we end the live broadcast is for the parents. How do we encourage parents to enroll, especially may mga targets pa tayong higit? Ano yung pwede natin sabihin sa mga parents? Kasi kami as parents, pwede yung iba sa inyo as parents din, nagkakaroon ng enlightenment dito sa mga sinasabi natin sa preparations ng school. So I'd like to ask you to give us a message siguro for the parents on how to go about this school year at yung commitment ng schools or ng SDO natin para maging safe and sound at matuloy yung pasukan natin come August 24. But before that, alam kong nag-meet na tayo ng 2 hours sa show. Baka meron pang hindi nagdi-dinner sa inyo. Sabay-sabay tayo magdi-dinner kung hindi pa. Before you give your message, isang mabilis lang na shout out doon sa ating mga viewers. Para malaman natin kung sila nang gagaling, no? Yung reach natin. We have one, good evening po, watching from Magalang, Pampanga, from RJ Calaguas. Magandang gabi sa'yo. Magandang gabi, Carlos, si Tito Kaloy, this is from Central Office, pero galing din siya Iligan. Ma'am Zenny, Villanueva from Antipolo, good evening po. April, Christine Bermejo, watching from Iligan City. Ang daming fans ng Iligan. Artistanin. Good evening po, watching from Camarines Norte o Bicol naman to. Good evening sa'yo, Ma'am Ria. Next.
Sama natin si Ma'am Jeanette Alvarez from Binyan City, Laguna.
May fans.
Supporter si Ma'am. Christian Pimentel. Hello. Good evening, Moxie. Angela Uy from City of Binyan, Laguna.
Thank you then. Through one of the episodes, kasi Sir Angelo from Binyan City din, pero detailed siya, as well as Tito Kaloy sa BHROD. In one of the episodes, probably kapag nakaset na si BHROD, we will invite these two to have a chat like this, kasi in charge sila sa PPST, or PMS PPST. So what have been the adjustment of BHROD and PPST or PMS? Baka they can share also information para ma-intensify yung dissemination ng info natin sa pag-adjust ng PPST sa new normal.
Next is from Ma'am Caroline Brabante from Antipolo City. Ma'am Jeanette Alvarez, congrats Ma'am Leslie. And then si Ma'am Daisy from Iligan City Division. Okay. Si Sir
Patrick.
Mga Lodi. Ayan.
Good evening kay Patrick. Nagtatawag na siya dito kanina. Anong oras pa? Alas 7. Hinahanap niya yung mga kasamahan niya. School head from Antipolo, si Sir Rogen. Kamusta sa inyo? Another school head. They're puro, aside from parents, school heads din, nanonood sa atin. They're trying to benchmark doon sa mga na-share natin best practices. And this is from San Isidro Elementary School. Watching from Kabading ES, SDO Antipolo. Kabading ES is not Kabading ES kung wala si Rogen. We have Sir Steve Kusuway from Maximum Labayan National High School. School head din natin to. Ang dami daw niyang napulot kay Sir Felix from SDO Palawan. Flap flap, galing daw. Thank you sa mga na-share. We have a viewer from Lanao del Sur, Jonalyn Deles. Good evening.
Sheila, Miss
Ligan
Sheila,
City, yan.
kamukha.
Kilala niyo si kilala natin, no? Of course, ito. Di ba hindi nakakakilala kay Sir Otep Titar? Ma'am Tortosa from Antipolo, school head din ito. Sachi Chang, good evening din sa'yo. Si Miss Kat pala ito. From Davao de Oro Division, hello din po sa inyo. From Ozamis City, Sir Jericho, Ma'am Nida Panganiban from San Antonio Village, Antipolo. Another one from Iligan City. Yan. Meron pa ba tayo? Thank you for your generous inputs daw po. Thank you mga guests. No? Lagi nanonood si Sir Otep at sinishare din niya. Taga Mindanao din yung sinisharean niya ng, ng mga inputs para makatulong. Good evening. Thanks po. More topics po kay Ma'am Grace Santiago, Principal from Antipolo. PSDS, Ma'am Lucy Pagalanan from Laguna, SDO Laguna. Magandang gabi po. And Ma'am Susana Relio from Antipolo. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Now we are about to end the episode today. Lalagyan po natin ng extended episode yung ating YouTube. Nakalagay na po doon yung mga videos na sinend ng ating mga guests para makita natin kung paano talaga yung actual na ginawa nila. And before we end, ihinga natin ng messages ang ating mga guests para sa mga parents, how to go about August 24 na pasukan, ano yung commitment ng SDO ng ating mga anak. Simulan natin siguro kay Sir Felix.
Hello po ulit, good evening po sa lahat ng ating viewers. Message ko sa mga parents, huwag po kayong mag-alala because ang mga schools po natin are doing their best. Our teachers and school heads are doing their best para po ma-prepare ang school for the opening of classes on August 24. So, meron po ang mga school heads natin, ang mga schools ng learning continuity plan and ongoing po ang implementation. And I know that they have already accomplished a lot in the implementation of the programs, projects, and activities in their LCP and preparation for the opening of classes. So I'm sure na yung mga parents natin have their hesitations, have their worries, pero wag po kayong mag-alala because our schools and the people of the schools division office are leading our schools para po mag-prepare for the opening of classes. So kita-kita po tayo online or using other modality when the classes open on August 24. And we just hope na maging successful po ang opening of classes. At wag po kayong mag-alala, lahat po ng mga activities ng ating mga schools in relation to our preparations for the opening of classes, we make sure that we are complying with all the health protocols and guidelines. Yung mga measures po natin, we're sure that our school personnel are complying with all those measures to make sure na safe po ang ating mga personnel, safe po ang ating mga bata as we open the classes on August 24. So thank you very much po ulit.
Thank you very much po. Next po ay si Sir Joe Domingo to give his message.
Alright, okay, good evening po once again sa lahat po ng ating tagapakinig. Yes, definitely education will continue, but we would like to assure po our dear parents, learners, as well as our teachers that their safety are also considered and given utmost importance. We are reviewing our LCP to ensure that our programs and activities are based on the result of our LESF and that these are responsive to the real needs of our learners and that gaps are being addressed. We are faced with so many challenges, but we are doing our best po to make sure po that everything will be okay po for the opening of classes. So, God bless and stay safe po.
Thank you very much. Next po, hingan natin ang message ni Ma'am Leslie.
Hello po once again, good evening. Kagaya lang po ng nabanggit ng ibang mga kasama, dadagdagan ko lang po na sa mga parents natin, sana kung gaano kayo nagtiwala na kayang i-deliver ang edukasyon noong old normal, sana ganun din po yung pagtitiwala na ibigay ninyo sa mga paaralan at sa Department of Education ngayong new normal or better normal, because rest assured that all your conditions and situations are being considered, and our learning continuity plan is very flexible, no, depende sa sitwasyon at pangangailangan. Kaya ganun po, kung gaano kayo nagtiwala noon, sana ganun ding pagtitiwala para
Thank you
sa
very
education
much, Ma'am
ngayon.
Leslie. Very well said. Ma'am Riza, para sa kanyang message sa parents.
Mama, Papa, Lola, Lolo, mga auntie, uncle, sa tanang mga ginikanan na nagpalangga sa ilahang mga anak, ato silang i-enroll, ipatungha nato atong mga kabataan. Dili ta mahadlok sa tanang mga disasters na moabot sa atong kinabuhi, labi ng COVID-19. Kay secured ang atong new normal education karon for school year 2020-2021. Ang atong pagabuhaton, salig lang. Kung naamoy mga pangutana, if you have questions, naatay question suggestion box. Kung naamoy mga kalibog, pwede mo chat. Asa dapat mag-chat? Dito sa tuang FB. Sa tuang FB chat, pwede pod mo manawag, pwede mo text, pwede po ta magchika-chika para mapahibalo mo kung unsa kalig-on ang atong DepEd, kung unsa kalig-on ang ato ang mga bata na pwede gyapon sila motungha despite natay COVID. Kaya mga parents, mag-communicate ta. Mag-partner man ta, tawag-tawag, chat-chat, sa pa, maghabutan sa suggestion box, adto mo istorya sa principal, kay tagaan mamog number sa principal, sa mga magtutudlo, sa mga teachers, kana atong pagabuhaton, let us be proactive, mag-istorya ta kanunay para naatay maayong kaugmaon para sa itong mga kabataan. Salamat o pastay iligan.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Riza.
Pastay iligan,
Opo.
walang iwanan.
True. Opo, walang iwanan. And for his message po para sa parents, Sir Nico. Nakamute yata si Sir Nico. Yan.
Hello mga magulang. Tuloy ang edukasyon, tuloy ang pagkatuto, no? Pero ito ay hindi lamang responsibilidad ng eskwelahan, no? Itong COVID-19 ay muling ibinalik sa ating mga magulang ang isa rin nating responsibilidad, ang turuan ng ating mga anak. Sa ganito pong paraan, hindi mo namin pababayaan sa aming part sa eskwelahan kayong na hindi kayo tulungan paano yun gagawin. Nandiyan ho ang mga orientation, ang mga capacity building, paano natin gagabayan at tutulungan yung ating mga anak sa pag-aaral. At gaya nung binanggit ko rin ko kanina, mahalaga ho yung ating komunikasyon. No? Kung hindi ho kaya ng GC, hindi ho kaya ng text message, we'll do have consultation hours doon sa mga learning hubs, no? Doon sa mga distribution points, doon mismo sa komunidad ng Hapay na Mangga para makapag-usap tayo at mabigyang linaw yung mga bagay na dapat nating linawin or mapagtibay pa yung mga maayos na ginagawa na ng ating mga anak or mag-aaral. Muli, marami pong salamat at see you sa opening ng klase, August 24.
Okay, maraming salamat. May
Sir
message ka
Lito,
ba? Yes
Sir
po.
Joan, ay Ma'am Joanne, sa maraming salamat.
Opo, maraming
Kay
salamat
Sir
po.
Carlos, kay Sir Angelo Oy, na nakarating na ng Iligan, at saka kay Sir Pelec, kay Sir Joe, kay
Papunta
Sir
kami sa
Nico,
illegal.
Sir Leslie.
Opo.
Sana friends tayo sa Facebook para makatrack ako ng mga mga good practices, mga better
Yes po.
best practices.
Yes
diba?
po, yes po.
Maraming salamat for inviting me.
Yes po, it's an honor po to have you dito sa ating. This is just a public service po, kaya naka-stream po siya sa ating personal Facebook account dahil alam natin yung reach na meron tayo para matulungan natin ang ating community na maging equipped para sa darating na pasukan. Meron ka bang message para sa
Isang shoutout lang sa mga teachers kasi at saka sa lahat ng nasa education sector kasi ang hirap nung pinagdadaanan natin pare-pareho, yung preparation, yung pagod, yung puyat, lahat-lahat, diba? Minsan nga nakakalimutan na natin kumain, aminin nyo yan. Kasi iniisip natin ano yung dapat natin gawin, ano yung dapat na maging kalalabasan na mas maganda para sa lahat, lalo sa mga bata, lalo sa mga parents. So, ganun yung effort na siguro hindi alam ng iba na super hirap ng trabaho natin para lang makapag-deliver ng proper education para sa mga bata natin despite the pandemic. Yeah. So, congratulations po sa ating lahat at God bless po sa inyo. Maraming salamat po ulit at naging part po kayo ng ating new normal education.
And as for me naman po, to conclude, this is Usapang Learning Continuity Plan and we have just shown our viewers that LCT is not just a document, it is a living, breathing document na nag-ensure ng continuity ng ating mga anak sa education at nagsisecure na magiging healthy at safe yung darating na pasukan para sa ating lahat. So hindi lang siya basta isang papel lang. It's a document where everything emanates for this school year. Again, maraming salamat sa ating mga guests for sharing their time and expertise. Maraming salamat. Maraming nagko-comment, marami ding nag-PM. They're very thankful. Marami silang nakuha sa inyo, natutunan sa inyo, hindi lang parents, pero principals and teachers alike ay nakakuha ng mga significant points from you doon sa mga na-share po ninyo. So maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat sa pagbigay ng time ninyo. So we'll end the live broadcast. Meron tayong extended version sa YouTube including the videos of their actual simulations para sa mga nanonood to be guided or baka meron pang hindi na-discuss na makita nyo din sa video na pwede nyo i-adopt at pwede nyo i-share sa ating mga parents, learners, teachers, and other school heads and other SDO personnel na maganda naman and worth sharing. So again, magandang gabi sa lahat. And nag-extend na tayo ng 2 hours, Nagugutom na ba? Nagugutom na ba ang ating mga guests? Magpapadala ko ng pagkain sa email, pakiabangan. Email ko na lang po ang inyong mga pagkain.
Halaman na lang, sir, dito. Halaman na lang.
Halaman na lang, pwede naman. Pick up nyo dito sa bahay. Oo. So, again, maraming salamat sa lahat.